Okay, just wanted to make sure I've got audio here. Okay, boom. G'day, welcome to the Combat or Total Combat Gaming channel. My gamer tag is Bloodsport09 or Bloodsport09. You can find me on the PlayStation Network. Just wanted to put together a video today to do with close quarters battle training or tactics, just off of some other videos that I've gone through off of YouTube. I have no idea how to edit videos yet, very new to this, so bear with me. I just thought I'd go ahead and just broadcast it and come back and edit it later. So the goal of this video is basically to go through some of the theory of the tactics to do with single man CQB, which will then lead on to 2-man and 4-man. So I'll just go through, I guess, a bit of theory that I've learned and picked up. As far as resources go, I picked up a lot of this. Some of the best channels, I think, would be the UF Pro channel, or U for Unicorn, F for Freddy Pro channel. It's got tons of tactical information on there. That's one really good source. The 501st CAM YouTube channel was also very good. He had a little... it's almost like using diagrams just to show the tactics and how you can, the structures that a team will hold as they're moving from room to room when they're clearing rooms. I thought that was very valuable. But I've gone through heaps and heaps of stuff. Too many things to mention, really. But those two channels are fantastic. So some of the things that we're going to go through basically be dynamic entry versus pieing off corners or pieing off the doorway. It could also be called the slicing method. We'll talk about thresholds, center-fed rooms versus corner-fed rooms, how to approach door open versus door closed. Also, how to identify positive entry versus a negative entry when coming up to rooms. And Firewall's great. You've got a wrist tablet. It shows you basically the shape of the room, so you can identify that, and you can identify the best way to breach an entry through that room. So these tactics that I've gone through were developed for people to be used in combat in real life. I've summarizing that or adapting that basically for the game, how I think it might work. So I'm by no means an expert in any of this. I'm just a gaming enthusiast, and I thought I'd just have a go at making a video. So to get straight into it, we'll talk about, so what is dynamic entry? Dynamic entries are like an old school sort of method or technique of breaching rooms. It's pretty much what you've seen in the movies where, they smash the door down, they throw in grenades or flashbangs, and then the whole team moves into the room, basically crossing over. So first guy goes, whether it's left or right, doesn't really matter. First guy goes, say, left, next guy's going to go right. Next guy's going to go left, next guy's going to go right. They're going to sweep into the room, go around the walls, basically, so that they can eliminate any threats in the room, take it out, make sure, secure the room, clear it, and then move on to the next one. So dynamic entry is, I guess in real life, it's really dangerous for, obviously, anyone in the rooms. Civilians, obviously, casualties are pretty high, and also the danger for the people that are going into the rooms. But there's a time and a place for everything, and sometimes dynamic entry is the way to go because the threat outside the room is greater than what might be perceived as a threat inside the room. So why are you going to hang around in the hallway when you've got a whole team chasing you? You're going to sit there and try and peek around the corners, which could be, just give them enough time to get the jump on you in a shitty position. So that's dynamic entry. So that's definitely a method still used, but used in the past a lot. Nowadays they use what's called like a pieing off the corner or slicing off basically the angles. So we'll talk about some of the angles, some of the degrees of angles, and what you can see, and then when you get to a threshold. So a threshold is basically, if you think about it like a 90-degree angle or like an imaginary line on the ground that once I step across it, I am then exposed to more angles and to more danger. and it might be too difficult for me to, I guess, to manage all of those angles if I just step across that line. So it's almost identifying, slicing up the angles till you get to a point where you have to step over that threshold, and then how you're going to then peek that corner out before you're going to go in, or maybe the decision would be made that you're just going to go in with a dynamic entry anyway. And yeah, but that call is going to be made by the point man. Often the way that teams work, you're going to have a point man who's going to be peeking out that corner. He's going to be doing that work. It's going to be on him to make that call, how he's going to enter the room. His team is going to know exactly what they need to do to follow him. So it's very little communication that happens. That guy is pretty much just going to go in the room, he's going to go left or right, and his teammates are going to know what to do, get the job done. So whether he takes his time doing it or whether he's going to just go straight in that room, he'll ask his team to set up prior to that, make sure that they're obviously ready for the entry, and away they go. So then we're sort of talking about, say, centre-fed rooms versus corner-fed rooms. So you're going to have, I guess, all different sort of shapes and size rooms. So we'll have a look at that. We'll go into the map in a second, and we'll look at some of them, and we'll go through, I'll just sort of demonstrate some of those angles that I was talking about. Yeah, whether a door's open on a room could be completely different, could change everything, as opposed to whether the door's closed. Because then if the door's closed, really you can pick the angles, how you want to open that door. All the doors open at a 90-degree angle in this game. So you already know that you can use that door as a part of your defense. So, pardon me. Yeah, how you're going to decide how you're going to approach that room could depend on whether that door's open and what you see as you start to look around those corners. So, also probably a little bit of information on comms, probably more so in future videos with 2-man entry and 4-man. At the moment, really just focusing on single man and the angles, and then later, yeah, we'll look at moving tactically as a team in confined spaces, CQB style, or maybe out in wide open spaces. Yeah, some tactical comms and all that sort of stuff. So, all right, we'll jump into Office. And let's go find some corners.
Operation is live. Decrypt the firewall at an access point. Locate the laptop and manually activate it for the hack.
So we might start. I know there's a centre-fed room right here. So, all right. So approaching this room. So best thing about Firewall, you look at the wrist tablet. It shows you the room. It can even show you where some of the furniture might be in the room. Give you an idea of the obstacles or what someone might be able to hide behind, all that sort of stuff. If you've got the time to even look at it. But yeah, sort of just looking at how we would approach this. So from what I've been shown already, I would know that I want to open the door from this angle. So the reason is because if I'm opening the door from this angle, let's do it, is that I'm exposed to all of that immediately. So larger angle, more danger, gives the enemy a better opportunity to get me. If I open it from this side, I've got a door defending me, and I can start to slice that room off until I basically get to about here. So this is where we're going to think about the threshold. So the threshold is literally like a 90-degree angle off the doorway. So once I step across this, my exposure gets a little bit more dangerous. I won't even go into the C4 on a door and all that sort of stuff. Just want to talk about the tactics. So as I come across there, I can use a peeking technique, which will allow me to sort of expose myself and get back out of that exposure really quickly. So say I've worked my way around, I've cleared up to about, so we've still got danger zone or a dead zone on the left there, what we can't see. We've got to, there's nothing in front of us on this side. I've basically done my little zigzag across there. Now I'm going to want to just basically maybe just slice it across a little bit there, but at a certain point I have to peek in to see around that corner. If I did see something there, plenty of options. We'll do a bit of a demo in a different map to show you some blind fire and stuff like that. But essentially, so I've looked around that corner. I'm now going to want to peek the next one. So I've had a look at that, and basically that room is clear. At that point, I'm still going to breach it. We're still going to breach it as a team. If there's something in there that I need to take or something I want to get, I'm still going to come around. I'm going to use that dynamic method where I'm sliding around the corners. Sliding around the walls of the map basically gives me and my team more angles to attack. Less crossfire. We're not standing in front of each other. We're not shooting each other. We're getting guns on target so that we can eliminate those threats as fast as possible. Get the job done as quick as possible, and then get back out that room and move on to the next room or whatever that task might be. So yeah. So as far as a center-fed room goes, wanting to approach it if possible from this side. So you're minimising those angles, obviously peeking out the doorways, slicing it, so you want to get to roughly a 45-degree angle, and then so you've exposed 45 degrees across there, and then you can do your peeks into the room. So let's say what would happen if that door was open. Now if I'm coming, so I've come around this side of the map, I'm approaching that, and I'm sort of immediately going, alright, I can actually see in there, and you're going to just have to peek it. Like you're not going to exactly get a teammate and he's going to go, oh, I'm just going to go around here and try and get at a better angle. You've just exposed yourself. You need to be able to work your way around that corner and do exactly what we did before. See if we've got time to, a minute left. So corner fed room, you know, I'll come, should I come back to it? I'll go through this bit anyway. So again, like looking at the risk tablet, I can see that, so this room has a doorway on this corner, and there's a doorway on this corner. So these rooms, so change maybe how I'm going to handle that doorway. So for example, whereas in the other room, in the center fed room, opening the door from this angle was going to expose me to quite a wide angle. If I'm opening it on like right now, I've got a short angle, and then I start peeking off that corner. But what I'll do now is I'll just quickly end this. We'll get another one going.
Inadequate, at best. Contract revoked.
So yeah, there's basically with corner fed rooms, we start to then discuss whether we're going to have a positive entry or a negative entry. So there may be situations where it is a corner fed room, but you have no choice but to open that door and expose yourself from a wide angle. That is called a negative entry. So that's what we're trying to avoid with our breach and entry. We're always going to try and give ourselves a positive entry feed into the room, which minimises the risk for us. Oh, this would be another one here. So this is also a corner fed room. So you can see you've got doorway, room there, looking at the tablet, big open space, some interesting angles. even when I come around and look around here. So people are going to be standing in there, going to throw grenades at me, all that sort of stuff. So in this situation, say if I couldn't see through the windows, I'd still be looking at my wrist tablet going, alright, that's a long angle, so I've got a long shoot angle on that one, on that corner, versus a lot less distance, so I can see that on my wrist tablet. So I'm probably going to pick this angle because I want to minimize my exposure. I don't necessarily want to be, I say, it sounds crazy, I want to be closer to my opponents, but being closer in a confined space gives me a few options for getting around those corners. So I'm opening it here, probably a little bit too close when I open it up. So just going to be peeking around that corner until I'm at that threshold. And have a little wider peek. We're clear now to here. And then we're just working it to that 45. And then say we're peeking in and we're having a look around that corner. So just gives us a little bit of exposure. You've got to be pretty quick. You've got to have your eyes on it. And at that point, if there's a threat there, then maybe I am going to do some blind fire. I'm just going to try and shoot my enemy. So I'm not exposed. I'm using the corner actually as a part of my defense. And I can get away from that corner fairly quickly. So that's a positive entry on a corner fed room. So that's one of the things we want to look at. So just to give you another room as an example, I think this one's really good, which is why it shows the map, because this is really a center fed room. You can see but I've got like a long right angle there. I've almost got two rectangles kind of joined together. I can see, if I come back there, I can see I've got a doorway on the other side. So there's another, exposure point on the other side. Someone could come through that doorway. Gonna pick obviously for this way because I want to minimize my exposure into that room, and then just sort of work that angle a little bit. I'm not saying this is the best, but then I know basically, again, as I approach that, that's my threshold there. That's the 90-degree angle that's going to get me killed. If I just walk out in front of that, I'm exposed to a lot, so I've kind of got to peek that again and come back out a little bit. So, and then I'm going to stay kind of close to that corner, work my way around it, and then I get to that basically where there's a dead zone there. I can't, it's not safe because that's my new threshold there. That's my right angle there. And as soon as I walk across that threshold, I'm exposed to that corner. So I'm going to, again, just peek that out, see whether there's anything there. Once I've cleared that side of the room, I've still got to deal with the rest of the room. So as far as I can do a quick peek, which can get me a little bit, or this is my new angle where I'm going to work off of, and then I'm going to get it down. So I've got pretty much another dead zone there, have a little peek, maybe even just come in, blind fire on it, or do whatever, like do that dynamic entry. If I've got a team behind me, if it's just me, well then I'm going to have to keep peeking it. I'm going to have to be very careful. I'm just going to have to keep working on those corners, get over those thresholds, so that you can, I guess, minimize your exposure and the danger. So same thing could be said for this is a hallway or something like that. That I don't know what's around there. There's a threat somewhere over that way, so
1 minute remaining.
I really need to peek that out a few times, check that threat, come across, start sort of zigzagging it off till I've got another 45-degree angle looking that way, and then I'm peeking that out, and away we go. Right, we're pretty much cruising around the map. So that's it for theory, just quickly, and we'll go to another map and do a quick demo.
30 seconds remaining. Pathetic display of teamwork. Contract revoked.
So we'll go to, yeah, perfect, shoot house, that's what we want. So shoot houses are built for training CQB, so let's go have a look.
Blackhead up is live.
Okay, so shoot house.
Destroy the firewall, find the laptop, and manually
So
activate
this
the
could be,
switch.
say, my first room for as an example. So center fed, we know that. There's also a corner fed option, but it looks of it around the other side, which is probably the better. That's really what we want to do. Oh no, that's another room. There's a doorway there. This is interesting. Let's have a look at it. So we're going to go with a positive entry.
These
on an
firewall
L-shape
access point locations do
hallway.
not want to be found.
So we're
Stand by.
immediately exposed to that. Ugh, messed that up.
Found you. Coordinates for 2 firewall access points uploaded to your devices.
So doors closed, door closed. Looking for positive entry into this room. We'll open the door. Should give us that first bit of exposure. First target. Peek it. Peek it again. Let's slice it off this way. It's about 45, so still a dead zone, and we don't really know that there's someone there. No objects on the map. There could be, I don't know, something blocking that spot, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. Have a quick peek to the right. Okay, so threat around the right side. Maybe say blind fire. You can see if I actually hit anything. Not much. Or at least you know that you're set up for a threat on the right. That's your primary threat. And now we're going to set up for a dynamic entry where essentially I'm going to set myself up and get on. That was not good enough, but got onto the headshot. And then you'd still be looking to check that, or your second team member. So if I'm the first man in, before I'm going through, I've found that threat, I've gone, yep, contact, threat in the corner, right hand corner of the room, closest to us. Okay, everyone's set. Waiting for the teammates to say, yep, set, boom, and then I'm gonna go, maybe a quick countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then I'm off and I'm going, and I'm trusting that my teammates are going to hit that. So you can imagine if you're doing a dynamic entry on this, and you're literally just going, all right, we're just gonna bang that in, or you're gonna have a second teammate throw that grenade, and then you just literally coming into the room. So you're trusting that your teammate is gonna hit that right angle and eliminate that threat for you, because you're taking that primary threat, which is exactly the first thing that's in front of you. You're going to take that out. Secondary threat's going to be over there. But that's why you really, ideally, you don't want to be doing this by yourself. You do want a teammate with you to get those dynamic entries happening. And then, yeah, shoot house is awesome for this. So again, look at the next room. Center fed. More exposure on the right. Doors facing that way. So we're going to use that. That's going to cut that angle off. Customer. Keep working it around. Check that. Check that. And then check for our final. It's going to be around this corner. Let's just say we got nothing there anyway. And then repeat that process. So bang, room clear, close the doors, move on to the next one. That's pretty much it.
1 minute remaining.
But yeah, I think it's like any martial arts stuff, like I've learned in life, you're going to need to drill it over and over and over again. It's easy for me to just walk around rooms where there's no one doing anything, trying to kill me. in the game, it is just ridiculous. Once you make that contact and battle starts, it's not so easy just to do that or take the time to, I guess, peek out those corners. Sometimes you may want to just get in that room and get the job done, but you increase your danger. So, thanks very much for watching. If you've made it this far, yeah, like, subscribe, comment. All feedback's good. Any feedback's good. And yeah, good gaming. I hope you get out there and kick ass. Cheers.
10 seconds remaining. Unsatisfactory result. Contract revoked.